Hey guys, welcome to the video. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the pile of shame, what exactly it is, where it's come from, and what you can do to combat it. So a pile of shame, where does it come from? I think personally it comes from seasonal sales, subscription-based bundles, and giving the consumer too much choice. So for example, you can go out today and you can buy Fallout 4. A game that obviously retails at £40 when it first came out, which is about 2 years ago now. But you can go to online retailers and pick it up. You can sort of combat prices with other shops to get the price down a little bit. You know, you can ultimately pick up the game for about £10 at the moment, $9.99, and that's new from say Game or Amazon or the likes like that. So retailers can be actually pushing the prices down on those games to get your sale, to get you in the shop. And those lost leaders could drive you to purchase something else while you're in store. A competitive market is not the best for the gamer. Now you might think, Blackwell, what are you on about? Why is competitive market not a good place for a gamer? Well, let's be honest. You can only play one game at a time. You can't really be playing multiple games. You can't be playing FIFA with one hand, GTA with the other, and then looking at a screen playing Fallout, for example. You need to specify what game you want to play and then focus on that. Meanwhile, all these other games that have been on offer sit desolate, not being used on a shelf. Now, I have a shelf behind me. It's got a stack of games on it. You can see from the thumbnail of this video what some of those games are. However, I have a collection of digital titles which I haven't touched yet as well. My pile of shame is actually about 75 games. Now, if you consider what those games are, there's simply not enough time in the day to play them all. So why have I got them? Well, that is a good question. And the reason that I have them is a lot of them were on sale. So what's stopping you playing the games in your pile of shame? Now, I have a tendency when I play video games to hop on a game, play for a bit, then hop off, because not necessarily I'll have 8 hours of time to push a storyline. So you can see me playing FIFA 18 and just sort of playing a couple of matches here and then going off and doing something else, or Battlefield 1, which is obviously another one where you can just jump in, play a couple of rounds of multiplayer and jump off and go somewhere else. That's one of the main problems with video gaming and the pile of shame. Another problem is choice. Now, if you were to line up all your video games in a pile, let's put it in a list for now, because obviously digital games you can't really put in a pile. If you were to list all of the games that you've got and then go onto a website like How Long to Beat, figure out exactly how long it took each game to be completed, you simply wouldn't have that much time to do all those things. So it's an instant gratification situation. So you want to play a game and you want to be in there straight away. You don't want to have to learn any new controls. You don't want to have to do a tutorial, because your time is limited and your time is valuable. So what you tend to do is play games that you understand, you're interested in, and you can just jump in and jump out that quick. So games like Battlefield, FIFA, Grand Theft Auto Online, where you can just jump into an online situation, play a little bit, and then go and do something else. That is where the market is now. That's why games like Fortnite have a massive following, because it's one of those situations where you can play online, you can play against whatever, whoever, however you want, and then once you are satisfied, then you can move on. Whereas a game like Fallout, it will take you a long time to get into the story. It will take you a long time to progress your character and build your character level. Look at Fallout 4, you've got special perks. Now each perk of the word special, S-P-E-C-I-A-L, all 7 have 10 perks in their tree. Now if you consider how long it would take to max out those perks, if it's even possible, I'm not sure because I've not done it, I've not got to that level, then the amount of gameplay that you would have to complete, and all the side quests and picking up XP and lockpicking and stealth and killing mutants and hacking terminals and charisma and all the rest of it, it's just too big to play in a 2-hour sitting. Now, if you consider games like Skyrim as well, which is a similar sort of game, it's just reskinned and it's got different elements in it. That's 2 games, but you can quite easily rack up 200 hours on each of those. Right, let's say it's 100 hours per game. 100 hours per game. If you were to divide that up into 2-hour slots, because let's face it, most people each evening may be getting 2 hours spare time to themselves, that's 50 separate sittings of one video game. Now, let's say that's 5 times a week. That's going to take you 10 weeks. And in that 10-week span where you've got PlayStation Plus, you've just downloaded, 6 to 8 new games. Now, these games aren't all massive, but in the last few months, you've got games such as Metal Gear Solid 5, Darksiders 2, Until Dawn, Just Cause 3, Life is Strange, Tales from the Borderlands. They're all free through PlayStation Plus. So you've been playing one game for 10 weeks with your 2 hours spare that you've got. Meanwhile, you've acquired 7 extra games. And boom, you've got a pile of shame just playing one game. just trying to complete one game. Now, all being said, you can rush through that story mode of Fallout or Skyrim in about 20 hours. But still, if you've only got 2 hours spare, it's going to take you 10 weeks. Another way you can grow your pile of shame without even realizing it is through sales. Price drops are massive for piles of shame. Let's face it, if you pick up a video game, you may not play it for years, but it'll sit there in your digital catalog, in your digital library, until you do decide to play it. I recently picked up some games. This is through Steam. I don't really have a setup for Steam, to be totally honest. I don't really have a PC that's capable of playing games, but I got an email from Steam saying, hey, there's a couple of games on sale. So I went over to Steam's service and I picked up The Dig, Fallout 2, Fallout 3, Fallout Tactics, Fallout New Vegas, Indiana Jones and the Fate of Atlantis, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, Loom, and because I'm a stickler for LucasArts adventure games, I picked up Monkey Island 1 and 2, Special Edition. Also, I found that Oddworld Abe's Odyssey was free earlier in the year. So these games are now sitting in my library. So not only have I got 75 games that I haven't touched on PlayStation 4, I have a back catalogue of PlayStation 3 games, PlayStation 2 games, PS1 games, and games in my Steam library that are untouched. Now, I don't necessarily like to admit that I'm a collector of video games, and only recently I have started collecting. I want to be a player of video games. I want to experience the adventure and the whole immersion and emotion from video games. I don't necessarily want it to just collect dust on my shelf, but the way that the market has been manipulated, it's very clever to pick up games for maybe £1 here, £2 there. It's a great way for retailers to collect money from gamers for effectively buying games that they are not going to play. Understandably, it's a great feeling to have when you're sitting at your games console or your PC and you've got a massive collection of games to play. But if you're like me, you'll stick to the same ones and you'll play the same ones for maybe an hour, 2 hours, and then you'll go do something else. It's very rare you actually get to sit down for 12 hours, fire up a video game, install it, learn the controls, get involved with the story, and then progress it. Typically, I've found myself playing games, doing the tutorial, doing a little bit. It gets to like the first boss and then going, yeah, I'm going to play this another time. I've played it for a few hours now and I want to put it down. I'll come back to it, in a week's time and I won't know the controls and that'll be the end of it. And then that save game will be stuck in the abyss. I remember doing it with Deus Ex Human Revolution. I got to the first boss and it was just, nah, not for me. And then I turned it off and I don't even have it anymore. I think we are creatures of comfort, and I think when it comes to video games, we pretty much sit in our comfort zone. So the games that you're the most comfortable with, whether it's FIFA, Battlefield, Battlefront, Grand Theft Auto, PES, Gran Turismo, games where you can just jump in, play a couple of rounds, play a couple of levels, whatever, and then jump back out. I think that's what we're comfortable with. I think that's really sort of where video gaming is at the moment. It's great to have a good story, but do we all have the time to get through that story? Probably not in one sitting. Anyway, as ever, if you have liked the video, do give me a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button if you want to be around for more content. I am available on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. So hit me up if you want to keep the conversation going. Thanks for watching. I'm Blackwell, and until the next one, take care of yourselves.